proud, pleased, and privileged to bring in some friends of ours to talk about a big event we have coming up this weekend to get you and your family and the entire island, all one familia, one Guam, and we are going to fight COVID-19. We have Vince Munoz, who is with a PathGen developer, a good friend of mine. I've known Vince for a very long time, going back to his time running computer systems down at the court. So, Vince, very, very happy to have a fellow geek here. We need more of us.
Thank you.
And of course, our friend Janella Carrera. She is the Public Information Officer over at the Department of Public Health and Social Services. Good morning, Janella. And that is a lovely swing, I must say, in the background.
Thank you. Good morning.
That is very nice. And of course, we saved the very lovely Monica Guzman for last, because Monica, I'm offering you, if you would accept it, I'm offering you, because my Nana, God rest her soul and everything, I would have to amen Auntie Monica. So I'm giving you virtual amen right now. So good morning, Monica. Good to see you.
Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Bree, everybody. Half a day.
I can just hear my Nana's voice right now. She's like, boy, make sure you amen Auntie Monica like a good boy.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm 46.
Yeah.
So what we are talking about today is an event that we've got coming up on Saturday, you guys. So we are doing the Downloadathon. Monica and Vince, I want to start with the two of you, because this is something we kind of put together, and KUM was, we jumped at the opportunity to help out and help get the word out and allay any concerns about that people might have about running the app. So maybe Vince, we'll start with you first and everything like that. Where are we right now with download numbers? Because when last we spoke, you guys had just passed the 10,000 mark after 5 days, right?
Yeah, right now we're at 12,393.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, obviously we want more, but yeah, considering this is grassroots right now.
And I know, Monica, I believe that the goal that has been publicly stated is for the app to be effective. And, I keep saying this over and over and over. And I mean, I've typed it so many times in WhatsApp to my friends that, I should probably just copy and paste. But this app becomes more and more valuable with the added numbers of people that actually run it. It's, there is strength in numbers, truly. So I believe what you guys have said is we're going for maybe 2/3 of the island to run it for it to be really optimally effective.
That's correct, Jason. The gold standard is 60% adoption rate, and no country or jurisdiction has even made it past 38%. So, at 12,000, we're right at the 17% mark. So we're very happy and pleased with that outcome so far. But like Vince said earlier, we're doing a grassroots approach. We're appealing to everyone to go ahead and download the app, because the more people that have the Guam COVID Alert App, the more successful it will be in exposure notification.
Mm-hmm.
And how the app works is very simple. You download it on your phone, and it's on the Google app. It's on the Apple Store or on Google Play. And then the specifics, I'd like to turn that over to our in-house geek, Vince Munoz, to talk about the specifics of the download and other issues that might prevent people from downloading. Vince?
Yeah, for the most part, you do have to have an iOS device or an Android phone for a particular version. And, you do have to have your Bluetooth enabled when you do download it. And there is an exposure notification that's embedded in the operating system that you also have to enable. But, when you download the app, it walks you right through and allows you to enable it right there. Mm-hmm. But it's really simple. It just runs. The interesting thing
is it's a background service, basically.
People would download it, and you have to open it to run it, and that's something we didn't think about. So that's something we also kind of have to educate the community on.
Okay, now I am going to be, we're talking geek to geek here, right? And so some of the feedback that I know I've been seeing on our comment stream is people are saying, I'm concerned that it might take up a ton of drive space on my phone, or, the data consumption that it might accrue is, going to let me have like a $400 bill with Docomo or GTA at the end of the month, or, it's going to kill my battery. But to that last point, it's actually running Bluetooth LE, Bluetooth Low Energy. That specification of Bluetooth. So the footprint it actually makes on your phone, right, Vince, is very, very small.
It's very small.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very
it's not going to
small.
kill your battery for running, and it is a background service. So
No.
basically, it's set it and forget it.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, it runs both in foreground, background, and terminated state. One of the reasons why digital contact trace developers had a problem, because only Google and Apple can do things where they run in that state. So, but still, even at that, it's an extremely small footprint.
Mhm.
Extremely small footprint.
And the background service does automatically restart. It persists across device reboots, right? Because there are some people out there that are, privacy fanatics, and they restart their phone, 3-4 times a day.
Yeah, it won't matter.
Excellent.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Janella, getting geeky on a completely different dimension. What type of feedback are you seeing, from your side and your colleagues about what people have had to say, both maybe in praise of and concerns with the app after maybe like the first week and a half?
Sure. So, we're still getting concerns about privacy, of course, and that's understandable. So I still get some of that feedback. But, I'm also getting a lot of support. We're hearing, especially from the stakeholder community, a lot of our partners are asking us for more information, where they can get some supporter toolkit support, like, for example, Letterhead. A lot of them are actually just taking the initiative to go and inform their members, their staff, how they can download and spreading the word on their own. We've received information or just general feedback of them letting us know that they're telling their employees to download the app. And it's just so refreshing to know that they're taking the initiatives. Sometimes we hear about it from third parties, not telling us directly, but that they've just done it on their own.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so that we're hearing it from other people. And we encourage them to just continue to do that, whether or not they tell us directly.
Excellent. And in my experience, like as a software dork, right? It's when we produce apps like this, I mean, there's always a bunch of people who are immediately going to jump on board and say, yeah, I'm totally in. Whatever you need me to do, tell me where I need to go, and I'm going to run it. I'm going to tell my friends and family about it. I'm going to share it like crazy on social media. And then there's that group of people that say, okay, I could be in as long as you educate me effectively enough and just tell me why it's important that I run this. And Monica, this is why we kind of put the downloadathon together this Saturday from 6:30 to 8:30. It's going to be on our Facebook channel right here. We're also going to put it on YouTube, and it's going to be on KUM TV. So Monica, if you would, maybe talk about the agenda for that evening and some of the activities that we'll be providing the community to tell people why it's important that they do this.
Well, thank you, Jason. And yes, thank you to KUAM and PBS for their support in hosting this downloadathon. And it's Saturday, September 26th at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. And, the things that we are going to address during the downloadathon is, of course, what you referred to, some of the technical issues. We're also going to have some educational issues so that people will learn more about the app. And then we'll have firsthand interviews from people that have been affected. We'll have personal testimonies. And then, of course, we'll hear from the frontliners and we'll hear from our medical community. But in addition to that, we're also going to have some entertainment, which we're lining up right now. And I just like at this point to thank the great and awesome team at the Guam Visitors Bureau who's assisted us in putting this together. They have just been tremendous because they understand that a healthy Guam will mean a healthy economy. And so one of the things that we want to do with this app is to inform and let everybody know that having the app is about empowerment, and it's one way that you as an individual can help to contain the virus, and fight the war, fight this battle that we're having with COVID. And it's exposure notification, but it's our individual way of being a COVID warrior. And the app is just a tool in assisting our manual tracers and our healthcare community so that we can go back to normal. You know, we're hoping that that will happen soon. And this COVID alert is just one way we can help our community and our healthcare folks to, help contain the virus.
Exactly.
But yes, Saturday, 6:30 to 8:30 on PBS and KUAM. And we're going to have some fun entertainment and some people to come in and talk about the app, talk about their experiences, and then I think we're also going to have some prizes to give away.
And of course, it wouldn't be a Guam event if we didn't have music and we didn't have prizes, because we take care of our people, and that is the whole point of this. You're giving us a weapon that we can use through our phone to combat COVID in our community. So, and if my math is correct, if we're going for that, 60 to 66% penetration on the island, we're looking at about maybe 75,000 installs on the island, and I don't think that's unachievable at all. That's a very doable number. It's going to take a lot of education. Obviously, it's going to take a lot of fine folks like you, constantly ringing the bell about this. But Vince, one thing that I've gotten from some of the feedback, again, that we've gotten from our social channels, is that people are saying, okay, do you want one person per household to run this app and that will be sufficient? Or, if I'm mom, dad, and 3 kids, should every single person run the app for maximum exposure? And then maybe secondary to that, is there an age requirement? Because I know some of the pushback that I've also seen is some people are like, okay, I'm wondering if my young child can also run this app, because there's a whole thing about at what age kids should run different online services.
Yeah, the simulation study that we were looking at, it's primarily the age of 16 and above, and everyone should run it, anyone who can run it, because this is, it's like Monica said, this is really the way that individuals can help to stop the spread of the COVID virus, which is really interesting, because everyone's participation is going to make the difference between the spread going higher or lower. And it's unusual. How many times do we have something where everybody has to play a part? Everybody has, but it's empowering. It's empowering. And it is really like a form of quarantine management. It's trying to say, hey, who needs to consider staying at home and who needs to be tested? When you're at an infectious rate that we are at, something has to be done as the numbers go down to say, hey, we don't need to go back to that state. And
if people out there, if you truly love Guam as much as we know you do, and you want to get in the fight and you want to make a positive contribution to our community, it's as simple as just taking 20 seconds, going to your app store, installing the app, and you make a huge contribution to helping this thing.
Yeah, this was all done by volunteers. There are over 2,000 volunteers. The person who works with me, Shante Benitez, led the testing, the beta testing, with people who she'd feed it to Europe, and the Europeans would feed to the US just to have a 24-hour cycle. And Shante, she had maybe 20 volunteers on Guam, 20 to 30 from the university, all volunteering to beta tests. So Guam really made a major contribution to the development of this app.
Excellent.
But
and it does give you a sense of like you said, empowerment, and you're part of a community when you run this app. So the moment you install it, you become part of the fight, and you're doing your part. So kudos to all of you. Okay, Janella, I do want to ask, because since we got you on the line, there was a new guidance document that was issued, very, very much relevant to your agency, about new quarantine policies and everything. I know Sabrina's here and she wants to kind of go over that with you. So would you be able to tell us maybe what some of the changes between previous documents and this new one are?
Sure. But before I get to that, I just wanted to add a comment on the issue about minors on the app. If I could just address that real quick.
Sure.
From a personal perspective. So I have 2 kids, 2 young kids who both have cell phones. And I'm not saying, at least for me as a parent, and I'm not saying that this is how parents should handle, with their minors if they have phones. But for me as a parent, both my kids have cell phones. And I I had them install the app. Now, that's because they will have the ability to get tests done, COVID-19 tests done, and should they test positive, they will have the ability to enter that positive test. So at least for me, I will, even if they're minors, I will be able to monitor that. So I encourage, even for parents who do have cell phones for their kids, to download the app. And that's just me again, for perspective. But sorry, you were saying about the new guidance memo, the DPHSS guidance memo that just dropped last night.
Yeah, if you could just, hi everybody, if you could just provide just some clarification and what the difference is from the previous guidance to this new guidance, because I noticed somewhere in the 12-page document there was talks about this 5-day testing. Is that new or is that different?
5-day testing. Well,
Pre-arrival.
what I can tell you about okay, so the 5-day testing pre-arrival, we've actually we've had that in previous guidance memos. But what I can tell you about the major difference in this guidance is that for the section about unaccompanied minors, that was the major change.
Okay.
So all unaccompanied minors traveling or arriving in Guam will be able to proceed to home quarantine, provided that there is a parent, legal guardian, or somebody who's an adult to meet them at the airport and bring them to home quarantine form, acknowledging that they're taking them to home quarantine and supervising them and ensuring that they follow the guidelines for home quarantine.
Mhm.
So that's one of the major updates in this new quarantine policy.
Was that in response to
The
the
other
Janela
major
Cruz?
update,
Was that in response to the Janela Cruz lawsuit?
that is one of the requirements that the judge had ordered, that we make that update in our guidance. So yes, that is one of the updates that we had to make, is for unaccompanied minors, that they go to home quarantine. So that was one of the changes that we made. Another one of the changes that was made was in minors who are traveling with, or dependents and spouses who are traveling with a critical service worker or a healthcare not a critical healthcare, but an emergency essential healthcare worker. So if you're a spouse or a dependent of one of the two, and you have a negative test result before your arrival, then you can follow the critical service worker or essential healthcare provider to either home quarantine, actually to home quarantine, or their rental lodging.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another one of the major changes in the travel guidance that was issued last night.
What about, there's something here about costs associated with quarantine and or treatment for persons who are subject to quarantine upon entry into Guam. Is that new? And if you could explain that?
So the cost for quarantine has always been borne by the government of Guam. I don't believe there are any changes to that. One of the other things too, if I might add, for this travel guidance is that we're also letting quarantine passengers know of their right to legal counsel should they refuse to sign the initial voluntary requirement, the initial voluntary quarantine. If they refuse to sign voluntary quarantine, then we notify them of involuntary quarantine and provide them with Article 6, and also notify them that they have the right to legal counsel. So that's also in the new quarantine protocol.
And all of this, I guess, all these additional guidances and clarifications, it's all as a result of these petitions and lawsuits that have been filed in court? Is that
Not necessarily all of it. Some of it were things that we had intended to update as well. But for example, the unaccompanied minor portion was something that we did have to excuse me, we did have to make changes on as a result of the court case. But there were some changes in there that we did need to we were intending to make, and it just it so happened the timing of it because of the court cases.
And just for clarification, all incoming travelers are still subject to the 14-day mandatory quarantine in a government facility. There's no option for home quarantine if you
all
test
incoming-
negative.
That's correct. But I do want to add that, public health, together with the Governor's Office of Physicians Advisory Group, we are looking at, ways that we can use technology like the Guam COVID Alert App, Sarah Alert, ways that we can use that so that we can manage quarantine to the point where it may no longer have to be the full 14 days. Maybe we can use shorten it to a shorter time frame with, of course, a negative test result, and use the Guam COVID Alert app and the Sarah Alert to do symptom monitoring, quarantine management, contact tracing. So we are looking at ways to use technology to shorten quarantine, managed quarantine, and of course nobody wants quarantine, but this is all the purpose of it is all in the benefit of the public health. But again, and as the judge had pointed out, and we appreciate that she recognizes the benefit of quarantine, and that the 14-day quarantine at this time is within the legal authority of the governor.
All right. Thanks, Janella.
Oh, can I just ask Janella about the UMATIC community mass testing? Is there any word on when the rescheduled date will be?
We are looking at the possibility, and I don't want to say anything ahead of time, but we are looking at the possibility of maybe this, but that's not for sure. So but once we do determine a new date, we will make that announcement. But we are working with the UMATIC Mayor's Office. But again, we don't have a set date yet. Hopefully we'll have something for you by today. But we are looking at the possibility of this weekend.
Okay, I wanted to get back to the app real quick. And Vince, there's a really, really good comment here. I wanted to share with you. It's from Bev Tess J Salas, because of course everyone named Salas asks the best questions, right? and Bev and Tess and Jay are saying, I actually, and it's not necessarily scathing criticism, but they're saying, I believe the app won't work if people just can't stay home and do what they're supposed to do. But in a sense, the app is built specifically for situations like right now when we're supposed to be staying home or having very minimal moving around. And then when things begin to get back to normal, because we're not saying, as soon as we get out of PCOR 1, uninstall the app and then everything is good from there. What the app does as far as the features is allows you and other people, should you test positive, to register yourself, and then it informs other people who are running the app if they should come within proximity of those people, right? So can you kind of describe like the main features of the app and why this is effective for situations like that?
Yeah, that's exactly why you want this app to run, because if once our numbers go down and we start releasing people back into the economy, the question is, how do we sustain that? And when a contact tracer, let's say someone tests positive and they interview that person, they're going to identify everyone they've been in contact with, but there's a lot of people that they may not be able to identify. So contact tracers aren't able to notify them to stay at home. This is what the app does. The app then goes out there and notifies anybody who's been in contact with that person who's running the app through these anonymous keys. So you don't know who the person is. So it then allows them to say, okay, I'm the person that should stay home. And you can imagine when we're out and working in the economy, we want to be able to keep the numbers down. It's going to continue to spread. It'll just revert back to like what you're seeing in some of the other countries, like what's happening in Europe, where they're getting a second wave. And we can avoid that, so we're kind of fortunate we're hitting it right now at this time, at this period. But I think once we do that, we have a way of maintaining and being able to say who needs to be quarantined. But once again, what's important is that we do need to have a reasonable adoption rate.
We've had so many comments about people saying, like, we know public health's contact tracing team is short-staffed and they've got a lot of work to do. This is a direct way, by providing data to them, that you can absolutely help them out and help ease their workload and make their work like so much easier. So again, please make sure to check out the app. We've actually shared it in our comment stream. Vince, maybe just if you can vocalize the link, just for people watching this right now that actually want to check it out, because there may be people watching on TV that want to check the app out.
Yeah, if you go onto your browser and type Guam COVID Alert.guam.gov. I wish we could have posted that. We didn't think about that.
Oh, I got it in the comments.
If you go there, yeah, right at the front, you're going to see two places that you can hit the link, or many places you'll see a QR code. And if you just take your camera and flash that QR code, or if you're in an Android, enable your QR code scanning and just scan that, it'll take you right to either the Apple Store or the Google Play Station to download.
Mm-hmm. And then you can go back to doing Instagram, everybody. It takes 20 seconds and you'll help the island. It's good. It's really good for one and all. And then you can go back to your life. So I want to end this interview the way we started out. Monica, I've saved you for last. So if you can maybe give another push about what we're doing on Saturday, let people know when, and just how positive and how much of a good thing this is going to be for all of us as one Guam community.
Yes, thank you, Jason. But on Saturday, September 26th, from 6:30 to 8:30 will be the download-a-thon, and it's a push for our community to download the Guam COVID Alert App. And we'll start out with educational interviews. We'll have some people talking about the app, of course, geek to geek, like hoping you, Jason, and Vince will get into another conversation about the technical aspects of it. We'll have some entertainment from some of Guam's best entertainers, and then we'll also have some personal interviews. We've lined up some folks that will be able to tell their story, how the disease has affected their lives and their families. And then we'll also hear from our frontliners, our medical professionals and our healthcare folks, and what they see, and an appeal from them, because this is a tool that will augment our manual tracers, and also, our culture is all about Inafa Malik and taking care of each other. And
Absolutely.
This tool, this app is one way we can take care of our Manumku, because although they might not have the smartphones and have the ability to download app, you can, so that in the event you are exposed, then you'll be able to know that, hey, I shouldn't go see Nana today, and I should stay home and take care of my kids, because we do have a very high vulnerable population, and so we got to protect them. And this is how we can kind of combining technology and our cultural practices so that we can continue to take care of our families, our Manumku, and our community. But Saturday, 6:30 to 8:30 on KUAM and PBS, and it's also going to be live streamed on KUAM Facebook, right, Jason?
Absolutely, yes. We cannot wait to get started, because we want to do our part to help everybody get in the fight, and that's what it's all about. So Monica Guzman, Janela Carrera, and Vince Munoz, three friends who are doing their part to help Guam battle coronavirus. Thank each and every one of you for joining us on this Tuesday morning. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Sidus Maasi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's 7:39. We'll take a short break and come back with more of the Link on the Breeze. 93.9, good morning.
GU Self Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from